Bad idea. Bad idea. Hey, hey, friends and revolutionaries! Unless you've been living under a rock for the past few months, you probably have seen the trailer and heard, and probably even seen the new series for Masters of the Universe being put out by Netflix. Netflix is the one that's getting the next stab at the Masters of the Universe series, the animated action series, and I don't know. If you've watched my channel in the past, you know I'm a huge Masters of the Universe fan. Huge fan. I love the entire 80s series of the show. Loved it. She-Ra. I love that. It was a great spin-off. Totally in the same vein. The mini comics. I love the mini comics. Even when they started to delve more into the TV show history, into the TV show timeline, TV show universe, however you want to say it. I still like the mini comics. I even like the '87 live action movie as a guilty pleasure. As a guilty pleasure because it wasn't good. It's not good. And here is a prime example of why, both for good and for bad, I am excited about the new Masters of the Universe Revelations. Revelations. Got so much to say about just about the fact that it's being done. Just the fact that they're doing it, and the fact they're calling it Revelations. Just when I thought we were done, or at least once we had gotten through to the video game developers and really made fun of them and poked enough fun at the fact that almost every video game franchise has a Revelations in the title. Mass Effect, Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil, was it Myst? What else? Tomb Raider, the last Revelation, that's a thing. The Revelation has been so overused in video games, it just shocks me. Shocking that Revelation is being used in this. I think it may be appropriate. I think it may be an appropriate title based on what the trailers have shown. I think it may be an appropriate title. I still don't think you should have used it. I really don't think that's a good name to use. That has been so overdone. But yeah, it's the Master Universe Revelations as part of the Masterverse series. Masterverse. Now that gives me hope that if this does well, if Revelations does well, and it's kind of a pilot to a longer Masters of the Universe series, at which point they may reboot She-Ra, because the last She-Ra series was vapid. It was just bad. It was bad. And maybe even do a new series, along with rebooting bringing back the Eternian lore, the He-Man on Eternia, She-Ra on Etheria, and you know what? Maybe let's go ahead and let's bring in Hero on pre-Eternia. Let's do a whole new show. Let's do that pre-Eternian show and make it all part of the Masterverse. I would be excited to see that. I would be excited to see that, as long as they don't go the 2000s to the 2000X series. I didn't like that series. I didn't like the character designs. I didn't like the animation. I didn't like the characters. Prince Adam was just this punk, this cowardly jerk. I did not like him. from that first time he was supposed to be training, the first time you see him in that pilot episode, I turned it off. I was done. Dropped it a few times more, didn't see any improvement in the story, so I was done with it, and I was thrilled when it was canceled. I was like, thank goodness. So the trailer I've seen for Revelations for the Mastervers from Netflix doesn't seem to be quite going that far. It seems to have some elements to the design, but we'll wait and see. We'll actually see. We'll give it a shot. But enough of that. I mean, I'm sorry. I just had to get all that off my chest because, as I said, just in presentation alone, there's a lot to say here. And I guess it's all just to build up to the fact that we've got Master Universe Skelegod. Skelegod, Cosmic Lord of Destruction, which is clearly inspired by that gold Skeletor from the 1980s movie. The one that wasn't good. So, bringing this back, again, I'm excited. The trailer has given me some high hopes, but everything else that I've seen so far makes me think that this is just bad idea following bad idea. I don't know. I'm really anxious to see the show, but so far, yeah. But anyway, yeah. Getting back to the figure, Revelation Skelegod, the Cosmic Lord of Destruction, which, if we look at Skeletor, because I've got all the figures here, at least all the ones that are out, almost all. Yeah, he is the, I guess, evolved Skeletor, evil Lord of Destruction. So there's Skeletor, where Skelegod is the Cosmic Lord of Destruction. But not evil. Important they left that out. We'll see if it means anything. Probably not. On the side, we've got the portrait of him, which is just the smaller part of the larger portrait on the back. So far, there are 4 characters, 5 if you count Battle Cat, but they've got He-Man, Mossman, Skeletor, and Evil-Lyn. Interesting well, let me not say, He-Man, Skeletor makes sense. Evil-Lyn, sure. Why Mossman and not like Man-at-Arms or Stratos? Mossman, okay. Why not? He wasn't in the first round of releases in the original series. Why he's first here, I'm not sure. But I found all 4 of these at Walmart. Skelegod was only available at Target. These all ran about $19.99. Skelegod was $29.99. And I mean, he is a larger figure. And we'll bring Skeletor in real quick. He is a larger packaged figure. Bigger packaging. Definitely seems to be wider build. We'll compare him to the other ones when we get those open, but just in terms of packaging, yeah, he's a big guy. He's a pretty big guy. Again, I didn't see Battle Cat there. I don't know if Battle Cat's been released yet, but they didn't have him on the display. So I don't know if he's actually been released. If the show does well, I may pick him up. But at the moment, yeah, I did get at least the first 4, and then, of course, the variant, if you will. It is by Mattel. Mattel is back out putting things out. Since McFarlane is doing DC, at least Mattel has something. But Skelegod, Cosmic Lord of Destruction. Skeletor lives his life with a singular purpose: to control the unlimited power of the entire universe. Time after time, the Bane of Eternia was thwarted by He-Man and the heroic warriors. What kind of monster would be unleashed should he be able to, should be unleashed? Should they be unable to stop the Lord of Destruction? Surely a raging storm of horror and terror even the bravest dare not imagine. Okay, all right. I envision, I predict this is going to be kind of like the climax of the movie. Skeletor gets the power, he becomes this raging monster thing, and then somehow or other He-Man manages to beat him. He goes back to being Skeletor, but now that he's had a taste of the power, we have this build-up that can carry the rest of a new series. I kind of figured that's what's going to happen. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, nifty packaging. A lot of cardboard, not as much plastic. Can't really see the figure as well. I mean, there's a nice big window that you can see inside. But yeah, not quite the kind that we got from the Master Universe Classics figures. There's no dimple. There's no dimple. How can you do a Master Universe figure without a dimple? Guys, that's like a given. You need to have the dimple. But yeah, it's not a blister. It's just this plastic window. And yeah, that's about all there is to it. So, so on the one hand, I guess I can kind of understand them not wanting to get too invested into it yet. They want to see how the series does. For now, we'll pop them open, take a look at Skelegod from the Masterverse, and have some fun. Be right back. All right, we've got Skelegod out of his pack, and other than one glaring issue, one huge issue, I actually like this figure. I like this figure for what it is. You know, as far as the character goes, the story that he's going to be portrayed in, you know, for everything else about him, we'll have to wait and see. Again, it's one of those times where I've got very little to go by other than what we have in front of us. And for what it is, it's not bad. It's not a bad figure at all. Again, there's one glaring thing, and this is, again, more possibly story related. We'll see if there's an in-universe explanation. But just like with He-Man in the new series, it seems though that with the power of Grayskull comes the letter H on your chest. Why that is, I don't know. Even He-Man now seems to have an H on his armor as opposed to the cross like he should. So what the in-universe explanation is going to be for that, it's a glaring change. I can only imagine they're going to explain it somehow. But yeah, the H on the chest, a little weird. A little weird, particularly on Skeletor or his powered-up Skelegod. Galvatron to Skeletor's Megatron, if you will. But yeah, for the most part, I like him. I like him. I don't like the pupils in the eyes. I've never liked skulls. I never liked Skeletor with pupiled eyes. And, I mean, the way my light shines, it looks like he actually has two pupils. But they're in there. I just wish they had just kept them black. The Skeletor, the actual Skeletor figure has them in black. The fact that he has pupils here, I don't know. I'm not keen on it. I don't really care for it. But the helmet with the horns, very reminiscent of Panther. If a Panther figure comes out, I think he would look very cool mounted on Panther with the same set of horns on the helmet. The large oversized pauldrons, again, kind of a concern. Sort of reeks of the 2000X series. It's not super highly detailed. It's actually made of a very high soft plastic, so it shouldn't get in the way of any of the articulation. But yeah, the fact that these huge pauldrons are here, again, gives me a little concern over what they plan on doing. Also, with his gauntlets, not overdone. I mean, not terribly overdone. His shaggy shorts and his boots, you know, all appropriately powered up for a cosmic Skeletor. All very appropriate. But again, I don't know. I'm hoping that this isn't some simplified version of the animated kind of over-the-top version that we got from back in 2000. The color on him, I like the color on him. I like it. We've got the blue Skeletor with a black dry brush over the entire figure, really darkening him down, much more menacing in his appearance. The cape is a fabric cape, completely fabric, kind of as an homage, I guess, to the Master Universe movie. There are these two kind of split parts of his cape, sort of the way the Skeletor in the movie had them. There are a couple of diamond-shaped plastic pieces on the end for some weight here. So nice little touch, nice little detail on it. Nice fabric. Does actually come off. And I don't think those are magnets. I kind of looked to see if there was some metal somewhere in his armor. I couldn't find it. It just looks as though that the part here just kind of catches on the back part of his armor and holds in place. But the neon green goes against that purple and blue, the black. Very menacing. Very nice. And of course, because he's wearing a helmet and not a hood that goes over his entire head and neck, you know, we see the green flame that's holding the skull above his head. So his head just kind of floats on green flame from underneath the pauldron, or from above the pauldron. Got the three-toed clawed boots. Very Skeletor-ish hands, kind of the Terror Claw Skeletor, if you want to use an old figure reference. Looking very cool. The articulation, he's got the ball-jointed head. So nice range of movement with the head. The torso, there's no crunch necessarily, or not the crunch like we got from the Master Universe Classics version. It's sort of a ball-jointed crunch. At least I thought it was. It may be a hinge. It may just be a hinge. I thought it went, yeah, it goes side to side a little bit. Okay, yeah, so it is a ball joint in there. Not always my favorite. Not always my favorite type of articulation in a torso. So hopefully that'll hold up better than I've seen in other figures. It does have a twist at his waist. The arms come up and out. Twist to the shoulder. Twist at the bicep. He's got a double jointed elbow. And he has a twist at the hand. Again, very soft plastic on the fingers and on the gauntlets. So twist. You twist all the way around. And even has a hinge on the wrist for as much room as there is there. Legs come up, out. No twist at the thigh, or actually, excuse me. No twist at the thigh. There's a double joint at the knee. There is a twist at the boot, a hinge at the foot, and a little bit of a pivot. So all of the Master Universe, oh, actually there is, okay, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, there is a thigh cut. So there's a twist at the thigh here at the top, but it's covered by a shaggy short. So again, you know, you get a thigh cut, but it doesn't interrupt the sculpt of the figure at all. So really, all the Master Universe Classic articulation, the articulation from the Classics figure is included, but now in this more modern design, a more modern Skeletor, again, kind of the powered up Galvatron to Megatron's regular Skeletor. Very cool. Very cool. From what I've noticed, in all the figures that are being released, they all come with at least one additional set of hands. In this case, it just seems to be kind of these, you know, half-closed fists for holding things. We'll swap this out here on this one. The hand pops out like so. Very much like a Mattel sort of peg. You can see the hinge there. The gauntlet, it does come off, revealing a very narrow forearm. Very narrow forearm. But we can go ahead and we can pop in one of his other hands. Let's see if it'll actually pop all the way in. Push this down. There we go. Not much of a snap, not even much of a pop. Hard to tell if that's all the way in. Feels like it. Yeah, it feels like it. But yeah, he's got these semi-closed hands, because the only other accessory he has other than his hands is the Sword of Power, which I like. I do like the look of it. Very classic. Just a sword with power. It'll go in this. It'll go in the hand like so. And no, actually the hand was not all the way in. See, I knew that didn't feel quite. I think that's probably as good as I'm going to get. But yeah, there we go. Really nice Skelegod. Really great. I think my biggest complaint on the figure, if I were to make any major complaints, the H on the chest. Hopefully, there's an in-universe explanation for it. So we'll have to wait and see. Pupiled eyes, never a good look on Skeletor. Not something I would have passed on that. And he doesn't have his Havoc staff. I would figure that any version of Skeletor should have his Havoc staff. Whether he's got the Sword of Power, whether it's Skelegod, or just Skeletor, he needs to have his Havoc staff. I guess you can make the argument that it's been incorporated into his helmet, but I think that having the staff itself, along with the helmet, would have been actually a really good compliment to the design of the figure. If this series does well, which who knows, if the series does well and we get multiple figures, much like the Master Universe classic figures, and if they do a weapons pack, a spare Havoc staff would be great, especially if it's one that's kind of spruced up in the same kind of neon green energy kind of thing, the way the rest of the character is. Such as it is, again, we'll actually have to see what the in-universe explanation for his look is. Again, his helmet may be part of the reason why he doesn't have his Havoc staff, at least not in this form. And he keeps hitting my background, so it tells you how big a figure he is, how large he actually is. A couple of quick things to take a look at. A couple points of interest. He's got some sculpted straps around his legs and around his biceps. Same thing kind of where his belt is. Underneath you can kind of see where the armor, the faux armor, or no, actually it's real. That is actually a real harness. That's actually connected separately. How about that? I'm willing to bet if you popped off the head, take off the pauldrons, yeah, I'm not sure exactly where all this plays into it, considering you can barely see it. But it is a separate part of his armor. That's interesting. That is interesting. And I don't know if you can quite tell, but yeah, underneath the neon, the translucent green of the flame, yeah, the figure itself has that same neon green underneath it, sort of like the color that's here on the shoulders, just to kind of give it that glowing green look. Looks very cool. Looks very cool. Kind of almost the Castle Grayskull front here on his knees, on his shins. You can almost see the jaw bridge that would go right there. So yeah, I mean, overall, I would say that that between the trailer and what I've seen so far on the figure, I'm going to be watching. I am going to be watching. May even do some video commenting on it. You know, if that's what you if you might like to watch that. But I'll certainly keep on with the figures for sure. We've got He-Man, Skeletor, Mossman, and Evil Lynn yet to come. Hope you enjoy watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, join the revolution. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Oh, and those for you screaming at me because I missed it, you're right. You're absolutely right. I did because it seemed like such a throwaway thing. He does have one other accessory, his glowy ball of energy, whatever. Looks almost like a ghost or something that comes out of your nose. I don't know, but it is another accessory. He has just this green energy, whatever, which at this point, I guess we'll swap out the other hand real quick, and we'll do it off camera. I was so disappointed in Havoc Staff, I forgot all about this. It would have been, I would have preferred, rather than something that goes in his hand, it would have been nice if the inside of this would have had its own peg, and he could have just pegged it onto his hand. You could just, you know, pegged it on, because it goes over his hand. You can't see inside it anyway. But, such as it is, you have to fight with the peg. And then once you've got the peg on, you can then slip that over his fist. Probably not something I would actually have him posed with. Yeah, no, I think I like him with just the kind of open hand, reaching out, clutching power. Yeah. Not anything very impressive. Would have been much happier with a Havoc Staff. But yes, you can stop screaming at me. If you're starting to type something in the comments, hey, I caught it, we got it, and we're good. So, thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.